I just came back from Honduras, which was really easy for me as a legal immigrant to come from Honduras into the US, and I had some thoughts because you know, and I know that so many coming from Honduras or other parts of Central America into the US is a much more complicated process. It concerns me these days is that there is very little conversation about what's happening at the border, whereas 2 years ago there was such an uproar. And it was so easy to respond with emotion and spectacularly to this spectacle of children in cages, parents and children being separated, just as a deterrent to come into this country, and how awful and barbaric that administration was. And now this administration is open and generous and opening the borders. Well, that's not true. In March alone, 170,000 people were taken into custody at the border for trying to cross illegally. Do you understand that number? In March alone, 170,000 people. Now, when I was down in Honduras, I asked, what's going on? Why are so many more coming up now? It's not like the situation in Central America has suddenly destabilized more. Well, part of it is that the rumor is Biden has open arms and is going to let everyone in. Do you realize how dangerous that is? That kind of messaging might get him votes here, because for you, the American voter, it feels good. It's again this emotion rather than thought on something that matters a great deal. For me as a former executive in a company that employed thousands, another area where I saw the American responding more with emotion than thought was in how you consume products. So we employed thousands. We could have employed double as many if our biggest competition wasn't product from China that was just cheaper. We had better product and we paid our people super well, fair and stable wages that they could count on, life insurance, health insurance, schools and clinics. But our problem was that you, the American consumer, you were at the store and you would see the two products side by side. Oh, this one's in China, it's cheaper, and this one's from Honduras or Mexico, it's a little more expensive. And oftentimes the American consumer is just going to react to the joy of a cheaper product, right? More for less. You have to consider that as a consumer, you're actually contributing to situations at the border, because had we been able to hire more, there would be that many less people, arguably, that were not trying to come up in here. Just a very, very quick comment on all this, having just come back from Central America, that you, as the American, you have to think and not just feel when you see headlines. You have to think and not just feel when you vote people into office. And you actually have to raise yourselves, your children, your communities to be active participants in this world. Not just yelling at situations, but really thinking how your small choices contribute to the whole. There's a dire situation at the border. We're not talking about it because there's not grand feelings to be had, but it is worth a conversation. It's worth you educating yourselves and for you to think about how your daily little choices in the end affect policy and livelihoods.